Welcome to Simple Healthy Life, where our goal is to have real, insightful conversations on topics that we find interesting. And today, MJ, we have actually Cory James, MJ's wife, believe it or not. You couldn't put that together, and good friend of mine, obviously. And yeah, we're just gonna have some conversations on health and wellness. And Cory James, very interesting, just opened up or kind of rebranded to Cory James Skin Company. Now you're running this business, and we can talk about like the rebrand and everything if we get there. But yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about that, the skin company. What is that?
So it was a happy accident, I guess.
Yeah.
So I went to college, went to UMass Amherst, and just it wasn't really for me. At some point or another, after 2 years of college, I didn't really love it that much and decided to take a pivot. And I've always kind of had a love for health as far back as I can remember. And skin became just an extension of that. It's the largest organ in the body, so it's an extension of health for me. And it sort of became really natural. Like it was a natural love. I excelled in that and ran with it.
Yeah. You just kind of like you almost like fell into it, but out of like good reason.
Yep.
Well, I mean, didn't you met MJ at college?
I did,
Okay.
yeah. Not at UMass Amherst. Yeah, I went to Bridgewater State as well, second year, and I met him the first time I went out at Bridgewater State.
Oh yeah.
Scooped her up right away.
It was on my birthday.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. So yeah, one of my friends wanted me to come out with her, and I reluctantly went out. I did not want to go out that night. I wasn't in a good mood, and I was on the phone with a friend who was saying happy birthday to me, and Mike stepped on my foot.
That was an accident.
No,
It was a happy accident, but it was an accident.
So then he wanted to know why I was on the phone, and I was feeling a little spicy. So I was like, well, I can do what I want. It's my birthday. And he decided to get on a table in the middle of the room and sing happy birthday to me. So I had to hang up the phone with my friend, and kind of the rest was history after that. We hit it off and pretty much hung out every day after that. He made me take
25 years.
25 years.
You make it sound like it's not a good thing.
No, we're on year 25. That's all I'm saying.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
You dog. You.
The universe hooked me up. That's what I think.
Yeah.
It definitely did.
My clumsiness paid off, and then my singing voice, she didn't run away.
Yeah.
2 for 2.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry that you've been stuck with MJ for so yeah, I mean, 25 years, that's incredible. And certainly both of you, a lot of changes across that time. Yeah, what has that been like? I mean, because MJ, I know that you even mention often you're on the 5th stage or 6th stage of your life, or 5th version or 6th version. Cory, what version of yourself are you on?
Wow. I feel like it's a constant evolution. I feel like I'm always leveling up, and that's kind of my motto of this year, level up. So luckily we're growing together. Yeah. So we're just, we say that all the time. Like we met at a young age, and we were lucky for that. So we got to grow together and kind of grow up together and figure out who we are, and noticing and respecting all of our differences and our things that we have in common. So we just like build off that.
Yeah. Do you guys do you ever have areas where you guys like notice that the growing apart in some ways, and then needing to like kind of come together? And I guess by that, I think, when I think of like Alicia and myself, obviously we've been together, well, not obviously, but like 13-ish years. And yeah, the growing up is in staying on course is kind of challenging. I know that you guys have like a couple practices that you do. One of the things that actually we adopted was the jar, the memory jar. So now all of us are doing these memory jars, which I had to put out on the table. And so for those who are unaware, uninitiated, the idea is you put a jar on the table, and a little like Post-it or something, or some notes with it. And when you have like a grateful moment or just a notable moment through the day or through the week, you write it down and you put it in the jar. And then at the end of the year, I haven't done this yet, but at the end of the year, you go and you review it and you kind of take time to talk about it. So you guys do that. What other kind of things do you guys do to kind of stay the course?
Stay together. We love yoga. So in 2023, we became yoga teachers together. So that was quite a journey. It was definitely tapping into our creative side and like pushing ourselves outside of our comfort level. That's something that we love to do is do new things together, traveling, and skydiving. So that was like a big leap, pun intended.
Just to be clear, we're not skydiving all the time.
No, just the one time, but I mean, I would do it again. It was pretty cool. So I feel like that challenging ourselves together is fun, and pushing each other a little bit and keeping each other on track, But yeah, the gratitude jar is huge because it helps you remind yourself of all the little moments that matter.
One thing I would say that we get maybe different than most people is we've developed our businesses together. So Cory Jim Skin Company, and as guys know, we're starting our labs, and that really takes both of us.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes partnership. It takes a lot of understanding, give and take. I mean, God knows I don't have all the ideas or the answers, and thankfully she has most of the ones that I don't have, and I think vice versa, which is nice. When we first got into business together, I was in a situation where I was spending a lot of time working on other people's businesses, and Cory had gone through aesthetic school and then became a teacher of aesthetics, which was really cool. And I think you downplay sometimes how impactful that was to be able to go from teaching aesthetics at the level that you were to being able to teach the staff, right out of the gate, like what the expectations were. And I say downplay it, but I bet it's even harder than I knew because I wasn't there every day. So those two skill sets kind of married each other, came pun intended twice. Those kind of came together and allowed us to be relatively successful. Actually, I would consider very successful.
Absolutely.
So those are kind of that we've now taken that to the next step and decided that our love for yoga and breath work and meditation has now moved into our love for cold and hot therapy. And now we're opening our new company, which will essentially be a culmination is the wrong word, but essentially it's our skill sets in a different format, right?
100%.
It's going to feel like a spa vibe that Cory has built. And, as I'm thinking about this, I'm not sure what I'm bringing to the table here. but I mean, essentially, we're building a second business together. So when we talk about growing, growing separate, growing together, growing apart, like it takes a lot of growing together to get those things done.
I would argue that you're bringing the community aspect to the table, and your knowledge for the cold and meditation is very high level. So yeah, you've been building this behind the scenes for the last year. You've been doing the podcast, you've been working at Millennium, working at the Y, building all of that, the community, the following, the excitement for it. So we're both bringing a lot to the table for that one.
Thanks.
Yeah. No, MJ, we've talked about MJ enough. I mean, he is certainly a connector of sorts, and I do admire MJ's ability to connect with people, and it's very subtle in the way that you do it. I think I don't even think you recognize that, but it's incredible. And so, but yeah, so okay, so prior to Skin Company, Elizabeth Grady, right?
Yep.
Prior to that, you were teaching skincare. What was that like? 2009.
It was awesome, actually. I really enjoyed it. We would have a class of about 30 students a day that would come in, and it was a 4-hour day for me usually at one time with that one group. And then I would introduce whatever our topic was for the day, go over the theory aspect of that, demo it, so everyone could watch, and then break everybody up into partners, and they would work on each other and then switch and work on each other. So I would be with one group of students for about like 6 months, and then they did have a part-time class that would be longer, so that was like a year. So it was great. And man, I met the best people working at that school. I have so many amazing friends from there.
Yeah. So you just so I understand correctly, you were teaching people how to be
Estheticians.
estheticians.
Yep.
Estheticians. Okay. And so like they would be working in salons and doing what exactly? My skin, obviously. I mean, if it's not obvious, my skin is not that great. But so I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot about it. But yeah, what kind of things? Like the things that your salon does now, your company does now.
So a facial it's an hour-long service that could be focused on fixing the skin per se. If you had a problem such as like breakout, acne, sensitivity, dehydration, or it could be really purely for relaxation and maintenance. So a facial is done on a monthly basis to help the skin turnover, because our skin turns itself over every 30 days. So that's why you would typically do one in 30 days. So you start to build up a little bit of dead skin, come back in, we sort of reset it in a way, and then your products that you're using at home are going to absorb better and work better, keep the skin looking really good. People come in for a lot of different reasons. It could be anti-aging. Like I said, it could be a breakout or a problem with the skin. It could be relaxation. So the process is we'll cleanse the skin. We do an exfoliation. We have many options for different types of skin. And then we'll do steam to soften up the skin. We can clean out the pores, and then we disinfect the skin. We'll do a massage on the face, neck, and décolleté. So that's really relaxing. And then we do a hand massage and a face mask at the end. And all of that is customized based on what you need. So like I said, it could be aging, it could be calming sensitivity, it could be hydration. So we have a bunch of different kinds, and a lot of different talented girls who work for me.
Yeah.
So one thing I'd like to just interject here, and we talk a lot about transformation and transformative moments, and we talked about Kairos.
Yeah.
This is one area where I saw you, I'll just address you, change incredibly. Like, I mean, let's face it, sorry, we can cut this, right? You weren't the best student. But when you became a teacher, you became an incredible teacher.
Thank you.
And that's not my words. Those are the words of her students and in the school. And I mean, there's not just a test when they finish. They have to pass a state board to become licensed. Yeah. And I mean, I can't tell you how many people we've run into over the time that said, she used to be Miss Buckley, and then Miss James during that time of her life. You know, Mrs. Buckley was the best teacher I've ever had. Mrs. James was the best teacher I've ever had, and from somebody that really dove into it with both feet, that was definitely a transformation. And she's an incredible teacher now. I mean, give her 10 minutes, she'll explain it to you, so you can understand it, no matter what level you're at.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, no, I actually, as I was thinking about for our discussion, I'm like, man, I have so many actual skin questions, but I don't want to make it about me, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, no, it is curious to me. I mean, business ownership is a lot, especially as you start to grow. I mean, you guys have employees, and you've got payroll, and you've got all these other things that I know, and I don't know, MJ, you don't do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, do you? At the skin company? Do you
only
do
behind the scenes? She's the face.
Or do you do like the accounting and the you do all that? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So then how do you split up the tasks? What is it like? How do you actually? So let's talk about this. You were teaching.
Mm-hmm.
You decided, I'm moving on. I'm changing paths, and that's scary. I can imagine. I mean, to franchise out? I mean, it must be scary. So maybe talk a little bit about that, and then kind of segue into like how you run the business as
Sure.
of now.
Yeah. It was sad to leave teaching. I did really enjoy it, but it became the commute that really was like the deciding factor for me. It was a long commute. So I went back in the rooms for about a year, and then I accidentally fell upon like a franchise that was for sale, and I got so excited. So I like reached out to get a little more information, and we went down that road of like purchasing one.
How do you accidentally?
It was on Indeed.com.
Really?
Like it was crazy. So I didn't end up buying that one, but I did like inquire, and then it led me down the path to getting Canton. So yeah, it was meant to be, I think. Yeah. So
It was a great opportunity to go from a non-business owner to a business owner.
Right.
Because when we bought the franchise, it was up and running. So we had a client base, we had employees, and I guess I'll tell the story.
sure.
I had been in this world of retail sales and retail business ownership. I wasn't the owner, but I was supporting these owners for quite some time. And one thing I knew to be true was that employees would come and they would go. And that's just the way the world works. And but Cory, you're our first kind of. We get in there, we start on the business. We have a staff of 5 or 6 or something, and the first one was like, "Hey, I think I'm ready to move on. I'm gonna go someplace else and work someplace else." And I remember how personal Cory took it and how devastated she was, thinking like, no idea what to do.
Yep, I got attached real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah, because everything was going so well. So it seemed. Yeah.
yeah, and it was quite the lesson just to know that, like, okay, this is part of being a business owner. These are things that you're gonna have to deal with. I'm gonna take a quick plug in for Cory. Like, our staff generally stays, and it's because of the culture that you've built. So nice work.
Thank you. Well, you taught me that. Yeah.
But essentially, that was like a crazy lesson, and it was. I remember thinking, like, how do I explain to her that it's not her fault?
Right.
Like, how do you explain to somebody that's really upset about one of their employees leaving that, like, this is the way it goes. This is how it is, But we got through it. Just like there's probably 100 lessons like that we have learned through this period of time. And then I remember specifically. So this was 2016.
Right.
I remember thinking. In fact, I said it out loud. Well, I know retail is going away, but we have a business that's personal touch, and that's never going away. And then they dumped COVID on us. And you weren't allowed to touch anybody for 2 years.
Oh, my God.
And I remember thinking, okay, like, good one, touche.
Pivot again.
Pivot again. Yeah. And one of the ways we pivoted, and to her credit, we really feel as though we're more than just you come into your skin there. The education piece that you get. We have countless people that come in, clients that come in, and that are bringing in their daughters, their younger teen facials, and because they want not just to start a good routine, but also the education that Cory and the staff give.
Right. Wow. Amazing. And so kudos to you for like creating that culture. I mean, you say MJ, teaches it, but you have to implement it, and that's the more important piece. And so, what are some of the things that you do to like little things? Like, what are those little things that you do for employees to kind of keep them happy, sticking around, that kind of stuff?
I think a good work environment. We all get along so well. It's really important. We try to do team buildings. Last year we all went and did like a little spa day.
Nice.
Last summer. Yeah, that was fun. We do end of year parties. I'd like to do more stuff, but I think on the general day-to-day, it's really just like a nice, easy, non-competitive work environment. And a lot of the girls have worked other places, or they know they have friends that have worked other places, and they always mention that, like, wow, like sometimes working a spa can be really cutthroat. Like girls like fight over appointments, or that's my clients, and we don't have that at our spa at all. The girls it's a team environment, and that it's just makes it easy and fun to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so, okay, and now getting into the nitty gritty details. We've talked a lot, and of course, like both of you guys are super into change and challenging yourself. And one of the things you already mentioned is skydiving. I mean, that's pretty tough. I mean, so you must have been thinking like, who brought that up? Whose idea was this?
We talked about it for a long time, and then you were kind of like, let's just do it. Let's book it.
I remember that. I don't remember when we talked about it, but I remember where we were driving. We were driving, and we realized we were 1 month away from going back to Hawaii, where we were talking about it, and we were like, book it. Let's just book it.
Yeah.
That means we have to do it, and so we did.
Yep.
And then I actually remember the morning of waking up and having you look at me and be like, "Do we drive? Are we really going to drive down there and do this today?"
That was so scary.
And
I feel like I was feeling the little anxiety right then, but yeah.
I got a funny story about it too. So we get in the car, and where it's Hawaii in September, right?
Mm-hmm.
September.
Yep.
And we get in the car, and now we just got around to reading the because we were kind of both scared, so we didn't really read like what we're supposed to do or all this stuff. So we're driving, and I've got a sleeveless on, and she's got like a tank top on, and it says like must wear shirt with sleeves. And she's like, "You didn't tell me that this was a thing." I was like, "I didn't know it was a thing."
And it said you had to wear sneakers. Of course, he never wears sneakers.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
always wearing flip-flops.
So we stopped at like the little ABC store on the side and bought 2 T-shirts. The corniest Hawaii T-shirts you can find.
Total tourist.
Total
t-shirts.
tourist. So
Yeah.
we show up, in our Hawaii T-shirts, like we're like
Aloha.
ready to make this thing happen.
And then they were like, "Oh, it doesn't really matter when we get there, of course, because everything in Kauai is so laid back."
Right.
We really were like, "Rules? There's rules? Like what? No one told us that." But anyway,
So yeah, tell me about that. I mean, because that's something that like I don't know. I've thought about it. I'm like, I don't know about that one. I don't know if I'll ever do that. I mean, maybe I should, but yeah, how was that as you like got up there and were sitting at the top? What was the mind like?
well, I think I was actually calm once I was up there because I had like accepted, like, I'm doing this, like it's happening. So I think the moment of leaving our hotel and driving for an hour to get to where we had to go was we were like, whoa, we're really doing this. So you're kind of like going through the motions and just doing it and trying not to like feel that feeling of fear, So to take it back a little bit, getting into breath work was really the catalyst here, I think, because I do breath work on a daily basis, like Wim Hof, 10-minute YouTube video. And that is like a great maintenance. But I also go and do like probably on a monthly if I can, but on a regular, like every other month, holotropic breath work, which is a little heavier. You've done it. And that I feel like really releases trauma and fear. And for me, I love like feeling so grounded from that. So I feel like that somehow took like fear out of me. Like I was able to detach from the feeling of fear and do it. So once we were up there, flying in the plane, getting to the spot where they were going to drop us, I was just I definitely felt some sensations of anxiety, but I was able to keep it under control for sure. It was like excitement and anticipation all happening, and like, wow, like I couldn't wait to do it. On our honeymoon, we did paragliding, and that was very chill, and you were kind of floating in the air for like 20 minutes. So I knew once we got through the free fall of the 30-second free fall, it was going to be that, but longer. So I was like, I loved that. So I know I could do this. So it was so exciting.
Yeah.
So 2 things. One, not parasailing, if the audience is thinking about like being held behind a boat.
Paragliding.
It was actually jumping off the side of Haleakala, which that was her idea. I remember distinctly. This was back in the day when you would go and you would get the pamphlets from the hotel. Like, what do you want to do today? And you'd be like, oh, ride your bike, or look at this fun spot or whatever. And
A luau or something.
I remember picking up the one that said, ride your bike down Haleakala. And she was like, no, I'm definitely not riding my bike down Haleakala. And I was like, what?
I could just picture it being
me.
like 30 mile an hour down a mountain. I'm like, that does not sound fun at all. Like
It seemed
on
like
a
a
bike.
great idea to me. I was like, this is, I don't know. I thought she was adventurous, but okay, I guess we won't do that. And she picked up the paragliding, which is literally jumping off the side of the mountain. She's like, oh, let's do this one. I was like, okay, I guess we'll do that one. But
Interesting.
I remember the day when we were skydiving, and because the plane was so small, you had to decide the order that you were going to jump out of the plane in before you got there. And they like looked at us and they're like, "Who wants to go first?" And I was like, "She does." And of course, that's probably not the best thing to do for your wife, but I mean, we both had to do it. So, anyways, long story short, I wasn't scared until we were up in the plane, and they opened the door, and they like shimmy over to the door, and she just goes, "Bye, babe," and then just completely disappeared, gone, like out of view, like. And I was like, "Oh, shoot,
No.
this is real. I don't know where she went." And that was the moment of fear for me. But it was incredible.
It was.
Well worth doing, and anybody that has to deal or feels as though they can't push through that, you can definitely do it.
Totally. Yeah, you could do it. Just take it in segments. Like, all right, I got through this part. Now I just got to get through this part. Yeah.
Sign up
Yep.
and drive there.
Mm-hmm.
Strap in.
Incredible. Yeah, no, good for you guys. Always challenging yourself. So, so you're into breath work, into meditation. What brought you there? And did you ever have challenges with like mental health, like anxiety and stuff like that? Obviously, everyone experiences anxiety, but do you feel like that was like something that you had to overcome in a lot of ways for yourself? And,
Actually, yeah. I think it was in 2022. It was either 2021 or 2022. I decided that I wasn't going to grow that year. I was happy with where I was, and I intentionally said, and I said it to Mike, that I was going to have a sustained year. And for whatever reason, I mean, I still had a lot going on, but I just wasn't like actively learning anything new at the time. And I regretted that at the end of the year. I was like not as happy as I was. I felt like just a little bit low. I didn't have like a lot of exciting things that I could talk about. So I started feeling some anxiety. I felt like things didn't feel as good on a daily basis. And I didn't really understand it. I couldn't really make it go away. I was like, what is happening? So we decided to do yoga. We became yoga teachers in 2023, and that launched me into like learning about breath work, meditation at a higher level. It's not like I didn't know it, but I learned it so much better and started practicing it regularly, and I felt like $1 million. I was enjoying growing. I was feeling my best maybe I'd ever felt doing breath work and meditation on a daily basis. So that showed me all of those things. And then I learned in yoga that if you are whatever vibration you're vibrating at in your body is all you can attract to yourself. So I started trying to figure out how I could raise my vibration. So I also feel that the holotropic breath work really does that for me. I feel like my energy is higher, I feel happier, and then you're just walking around just like in a better state of mind. And then you start to attract all of that stuff, all that good stuff to you that you really want. And your goals, and then manifestation started becoming something that was a thing for me. So I started learning a little bit more about that because it made so much sense.
Right. So you're practicing kind of like being at this, being in this higher vibration, which is, I guess, associated, at least as far as I understand it, which is limited in its capacity, is experiencing like a lot more positive emotion and maybe eliciting some of that. And when it comes to like visualization and stuff, we've talked about that, but like trying to feel the feelings of positive feelings, even though they may not be like inherently there at the time. And so you kind of get into meditation, breath work, and cold cold bath. Was it an easy transition? Was it something where you're like, oh, just like, I guess I'm going to do this, and then you do it every day for the rest of your life? Or was it like a little bit of a struggle?
I think it was just a new routine I wanted to put myself in. I always have had a health routine where like I'll go to the gym, and I would go to the gym almost daily and do yoga once a week. And then I decided that I wanted to start adding this to my routine. And I wanted to see how it made me feel, like continuing to do it. So it was more, I guess, a discipline or a challenge for myself to just like add it in. And it wasn't that hard. I liked it. So it made me feel good, and I noticed a difference in the day. So I wanted to continue it. So I would just wake up in the morning, literally before I even got out of bed, put on my YouTube. I would do meditation first, mostly because I was tired. And there's something about the brainwave that you're in at that time. You're supposed to be able to get into meditation easier. I believe it's theta. Is that right? Theta brainwave. So you're in that state already. So just pop on a meditation real quick. And then once that almost helped me wake up a little bit in the morning too, a little bit faster. And then I would do my breath work right after. So I found it to be really easy. Yeah. If I start my day and I don't do it first, then it becomes a little bit harder because you start getting going and you have this to do, that to do, your to-do list is long, and it's just easier before you start your day to do it.
Yeah, I found that that's easiest for myself too, because you're in these like dream-like brainwave patterns right as you wake up, which is why they often say like don't go and like look up the news immediately, don't check your phone immediately, because you're highly suggestible. It's kind of interesting. It's like the same kind of state that people who do hypnosis will kind of like elicit you into, like where you do a little bit of a meditation, which is what you're doing under like hypnosis when you see it like on stage. It's it's very like extravagant, but that's what they're doing is they're saying, okay, well breathe deeply, close your eyes, visualize something, and they elicit these like kind of slowing down from our very active normal brainwave patterns, which are beta, into like that more suggestible state. And this is why. Yeah, that's why hypnosis tends to have profound impacts for people, and you can see it like on stage or whatever if you go to like shows. But yeah, so when you do it in the morning and you're avoiding all the other like ancillary stimulation, that negative kind of ick that you get from phones, it really does help set the pace for the rest of the day. So you do it like right from like you wake up and you go right into it. How long is it?
I'll do a 10-minute meditation, 10-minute breath work. Wow. So yeah, it's like 11 minutes on the breath work, but 20 minutes.
In that order, like meditation, then breath
Usually
work?
that's what I do. Yeah. Yeah.
And what do you notice? Like, do you have days where you don't do it, and do you notice like the impacts of that?
Definitely. I notice I'm more reactive if I don't do it. There might be a day where I'm running late, or you just got to go, don't have enough time. Yeah, the breath work, I think it's mostly the breath work that gives me space between my thoughts, a little bit more time to think, and keeps me calmer, definitely less reactive. I never really knew that you could change kind of your personality, let's say, until I got into breathwork, because I would have just said, like, I got my hot-headedness from my dad, right? Like, my dad's a little bit of a hothead, and I have those tendencies. But I feel like now, understanding breathwork, I can control it more. So I have a little bit of a choice, like, in that.
The cold tub helps with that, too.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you're right. And I'm not giving the cold tub enough credit, because even today, it helped me so much.
So the reason we have a cold tub is because you bought one.
Yep.
For me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you buy one for me?
On it. You'll just have to come to our labs.
Yeah, true. You have to sign up for our premium membership. Yeah. Well, speaking of our labs, let's talk a little bit about that. Where are you guys at with it? We've talked a little bit really on the podcast, but not a whole lot. So I don't know if people really have the full grasp of it. So yeah, what has that been like? What is it? What has it been like? How's the process going, et cetera, et cetera?
It's going pretty well. It's taking a little longer than we thought. Getting a permit was a little bit of a lengthy process because it was our first time. We didn't really know what to expect. In the grand scheme of things, it hasn't been that long. It's been 3 months, but we just didn't know what to expect, so it felt long, and we're excited. But things are coming along. It's moving. It's under construction. The walls are up. The tubs are there. The sauna's there. Framing is happening, electrical. So we're not too far away from opening. So
Grand opening, yeah. And so what is it? What's the vision there, so that people who are listening might understand what it is? Like, you guys know what it is, but
Sure.
what is it for people who don't know what our lives is?
It's essentially a recovery lounge. So the name R stands for recovery, R Labs, and all of it's going to have a cold tub, a hot tub, a sauna that can fit 6 people, a shower for rinsing prior to getting in the cold tub or the hot tub, and afterwards. We want you to come in and recover with intention. So you're going to maybe have a workout or a yoga class, and then afterwards come and enjoy the recovery lounge. So take a rinse, jump in the cold tub, do a sauna, and speed up your recovery post-workout. Also, it's going to reset your mindset. Like, we all live busy lives. We're all running from thing to thing and trying to fit everything in. This just like centers you. You just get in the cold tub and you are in the moment. You're just like, you can go internally for a minute, especially once you start to get used to it, and you can control your breath and breathe a little bit slower. Feel your body calm down. If you're wearing a watch that tells you your heart rate, you can see your heart rate drop from 100 down to 60, and slowly. It's not like instantaneous, but you'll notice that your body is calming down and you just feel so much better.
So one of the things that we really wanted to do is we wanted to bring a place where you could spend the time to physically and mentally improve yourself. And I just read this the other day, and I'm going to incorporate it into a lot of my thought process, but it was until we start thinking about mental health as something you practice and not something you have, we'll always have a mental health problem. And when we've put this thing together, Cory really showed that when you get in that cold tub, it's a forced meditation. It gives you an opportunity to kind of take the outside world and put it away. And same thing with sauna, and sauna's been proven for hundreds of years, if not longer, to extend longevity and to work through the mental, and we can talk about that at length forever. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to build a place where people could come, intentionally recover, intentionally reset, intentionally revive, refresh, really be the best version of themselves. And I mean, I would say that 90-something% of people that are actively engaged in fitness or wellness, they're not doing this stuff. They're not recovering. They're not spending the time to get in the tub or to go to the sauna. And we think it's because it's not available. We think it's because it's too hard. You got to drive too far. Or, I know a guy that might have a thing, or maybe. So we think it's a home run for us. And we want it to not just be for athletes, but one of the things we really want to be able to tap into is our first responder community. And people that they're in a tough spot once a day, if not more. Firefighters that are showing up at these really difficult environments, police officers, paramedics. The science is out there that when you can do this type of thing once a week, I mean, they say like 11 minutes a week is the number, but really just getting there, giving yourself that opportunity to reset will help your physical and your mental health. And we wanted to bring that to the community. We started looking at doing it in Canton next to our current business. And then we actually found a place right in Lakeville it's Millennium Fitness. We've had Jay Caldas on before. But we found a place that it shares either a wall or a floor or a ceiling with a gym, a yoga studio, a Muay Thai studio, and a personal training studio. So we're plopping that thing right in the middle. Hopefully, have those people will understand and see the value in it, and then we'll market to our community and just build a community of people that really want to recover with intention.
Yeah, no, that's incredible, guys, and congratulations.
thanks.
And it must be so nice to see it like moving forward. And it's an important practice. The science is there in terms of like recovery. Obviously, I mean that's been actually well known for quite some time that cold and sauna is both good for longevity and recovery and etc. However, a little bit more challenging to study is that kind of like that mental capacity, that mental kind of like resilience that is developed. And I think people don't often think about that as a practice, doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. And that's actually one of the most common responses that I hear from people who don't do cold bath or have never done it. It's like, ooh, but I don't like that. That sounds hard. It's like, well, yeah, that's the point. That's the point, is the people who do these things, even sauna is like uncomfortable, but the people who do that know that it's hard, know that it kind of sucks. And that's the point, is to have a practice where you're willfully engaging in that kind of suck, and it gets easier. If you do even like once a week, if you were to do it once a week or something, you would recognize by a month in, you'd have less resistance to doing it. It probably, and I had a good stint there where I was doing cold baths, and this is actually where I met you. Where I didn't meet you, but we connected deeply on a like a little cold bath event. But when I had a good stint there, and never really got easier in the sense that I ever liked it. I was never like, okay, yeah, like I love this. This is going to be easy to step in. It was always that same amount of resistance, but I was able to push through the resistance a little easier and able to extend that period of discomfort a little bit longer. And so I don't know if you've found that, either of you, where I don't know if it ever sucks less, but you get better at tolerating the suck, I think is probably a fair way to say it.
Sure, yeah. What I do to get in is I set my intention. I say why I'm getting in when I step in. So if it's to reset myself, or because I love myself, I want to be healthier, whatever it is, I say something out loud as I'm stepping in. What we did at the beginning was put on music, some sort of like song that would fire you up a little and be like, oh, we can do it. Yeah. And then we would time it for 3 minutes. So we just pick a 3-minute song, and that would help you get through it. But it's always hard, but it's worth it. You always feel better after.
Yeah, the thing is, the part that I teach this, as the audience knows, and I never tell anybody how to feel. Never tell them how they're going to feel. Just let them find out for themselves. Once you start to recognize how good you feel afterwards, there's no placebo effect. It's not, you went through something that was challenging. You had to be disciplined. That just the feeling of being disciplined enough to say, I'm going to do this hard thing, is one thing. But then the response that the physical body has and will give you, the dopamine rush that you get, it's definitely something that it makes it worth it. Right? And the hardest part for all of us is essentially just sitting down, just stepping in and sitting down. And once, we'll probably do a whole nother podcast on this soon, so people can understand the process and the science. In fact, I think that's a good idea. We should do that. Yeah. But once you get in and sit down, you're forced to recognize and reconcile your breath. And when you move to your breath and that's going to take the attention from the outside to the inside. And once you get your breath under control, for some of us that might take 10 seconds, some of us that might take 30 seconds. You get your breath under control, you can start to essentially use your awareness to look around and find out, I'm not dying, I'm not drowning, nothing bad is happening, it's uncomfortable. And that usually is about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. That tends to be the hardest part for people. Once that minute and a half goes by, they tend to hit this little wall where they start to go, all right, I did it, but I don't like it. And then about another 30 seconds or so go by, and then they go, oh, okay, actually, I can do this. And when that mindset shifts from I didn't think I could to I can, by the time you get out after your third minute is up, you really feel like you've conquered the world, and you can conquer the day, and you can find space between your thoughts. All of it comes together, and we're banking on people realizing that and my third pun of the day, banking. We're really hoping that what we know to be true, we get to share with the world and share with the community, and people will love it.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. Everything you described is all feelings that I've come to experience, during the process. Yeah, like the initial resistance, especially right as you step in, is really tough. It's tough to like bring those shoulders, underneath the water. That's like the worst part. And then that first minute is like really challenging. And I think it teaches you that you don't have to react, because the initial reaction, and everyone's experience this, it's like your respiratory rate increases really fast. It's like it's just shock. And so you're learning by persisting that you can control your reactions and that you can create space there, even if it's just physically. I mean, of course, it's like a physical and mental process, because everything in your body is telling you to, hey, get out of here. Everything in your mind's telling you, hey, get out of here. And there's some overarching, underlying something that says, actually, no, I'm gonna stay in here and do that. And this is a part of ourselves which, obviously you guys work really hard at strengthening. And I don't know what that part is. Call it discipline, call it awareness, whatever that is really powerful for us when it comes to change. And so, yeah, I think the cold bath is a good tool. And I think people will find that our labs to be very useful. And it doesn't even have to start there. I mean, people can start with, I don't know, like right at the end of your shower, like a nice warm shower, then do 10 seconds of cold and see if you can do that. And someone would say, well, why would I do that? Because you can, because you possibly could, right? And so that's the point. The point is that you make a point. You set an intention, as you said, Cory. I think that's great. And so you must have noticed how that, all these practices, the breath work, the meditation, the cold tub, you must have noticed how that like infiltrates your day kind of. And
100%.
it's hard to be tangible with that, but what do you notice now? I mean, you've been doing it for a couple of years.
I think it makes me a better person. Yeah. I feel like it helps me tackle like the day with ease and a lot more calmness. I used to feel a sort of anxiety if somebody like called out of work or something. Like now it's just something. It just is what it is, right? You just deal with it. It doesn't have to have that sensation of a feeling with it. And I feel like I've been able to like mitigate that through breath work and cold tub.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
Man, there's so many people out there that are looking for what you just said, right? Like so many people out there can't understand why all of these things trigger them so much. Right. And what I've seen her grow into is someone who's practiced at understanding what's important and what's not, understanding internally what her reaction can be. We all have days, and we all have them. We all have moments where we get down or we let one of those triggers get us. But I mean, I've seen this transformation, from her even more than me, as someone who is really practicing what she preaches, and I think that's, she had an advantage that most people don't have. She started as one of the most consistent people you'll ever meet, in my opinion.
Thanks.
And maybe that helped get the process rolling, but this evolution, this version of her is my favorite true story. And so, anybody that's out there thinking like, I hear what they're saying as far as, oh, you can respond, not react, you can pause, right? Oh, it takes years to practice that, or you got to meditate every day, or you got to do the cold tub. That sucks. I don't want to do that. Like, it's there for you. Mm-hmm. These are tools that she uses she uses to be a better business owner. She uses to be a better person. She uses to be a better wife, and they're there. So, kudos to you.
Thanks, babe. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah. No, that must feel nice. Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. A lot of people do struggle with, anxiety or mental health struggles, or just like relational issues or business issues or job issues, and they try to intellectualize everything. They try to solve those problems just by thinking about it. But the biggest problem of all is that problems of the mind can't be solved on the level of the mind. And so, when you incorporate these practices, it's both physical and it's mental, and through the consistency, through like challenging yourself, you actually find that those problems of the mind get a little bit easier to manage. And so you've noticed that. And do you have like throughout all your change and your transformations and everything like that, do you have just a couple like overarching tips or maybe just like a message to people who might be inspired by business owner, multiple business owner, is very consistent, like very into health, has great skin.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Take messy action. Just do it. Just like if you have a desire to do something, just do it. And if you want to be a better person or wife or better at any task you're doing, just stay consistent. Just try. It doesn't have to be an hour a day, just like 5 minutes a day. Just start with that, and then you can increase it. Now when I do 10 minutes of meditation, it's like over so fast. I'm like, I could do an hour. And like, it's just sometimes you don't have time for that in a day. Maybe I do. I could do it in segments, right? But just do it just a little bit at a time, and just do a little bit every day.
Love that. Messy action. As in like, just do the thing. It doesn't matter how it turns out.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. Done is better than perfect.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Do you have any other like last things to throw in there, little tidbits?
Thank you.
Thanks.
This was looking forward to this one. I appreciate you coming on and being part of the podcast. I get a lot of your feedback, which I'm happy about. But no, I think she said it best. I think come visit us at our labs. We'll be talking more about that. Come visit us at Cory James Skin Company, and we'll put Cory's handle on the bottom so you can reach out to her. Please reach out to her if some of this stuff resonated with you. At Simple Healthy Chick 26 at Simple Healthy Chick 26. And if there's any topics you want to hear from us or guests you want to have us speak to or have back on, just let us know in the comment section, and we'll catch you all next time.
Thanks.
Thanks.